Hi, my name is Christy, and welcome to Stretch and Breath. I want to take the first couple minutes just to explain to you what this is and what this isn't. First of all, I'm going to be talking a lot about breath, and not just breathing in through your lungs and filling up your lungs. I'm going to be teaching you a technique called diaphragmatic breathing. And what it does is it helps to stabilize and balance the adrenals. It can actually help with digestion. But most of all, during this particular practice, it's going to help you to be able to get into that stretch a little bit more than you normally have. But I slow down and I talk a lot about breath, because breath is life, and breath is what is really going to bring healing and harmony to your body. It's so important, I can't even begin to stress. We're shallow breathers. We don't breathe deep enough. Really get into the breath. The second thing is what it's not. This is not yoga. I am not practicing yoga here. We are going to be stretching all the different muscle groups, and we're even going to be doing a little bit of connection with butt cheeks and core, and so that you can have really good stability and balance as a result of doing this particular practice. Today I'm going to do about a 35-minute stretch and breath with you. But I'm also going to down the road be doing one that's going to be more about an hour, because you're going to fall in love with this and you're going to very quickly begin to reap the benefits of this. So let's go ahead and get started. All you need is a mat, not even a mat. You can use a towel if you want to, or a rug, and a towel, a small hand towel. The reason I use a towel is because I don't want you feeling like you have to go out and buy some fancy stretch band. No, I just use a towel. So I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side right now, and we're going to start our practice today with a standing series. So what I want you to do is have your feet hip width apart. I want your feet straight for the first part of the stretching. I want your legs strong. Now today you're going to learn to connect to your body. You're going to learn to be in better sync, to feel all the muscles, the joints, the tendons. So right now feel strong legs. I've got my butt cheeks clenched a little bit here so I can feel the connection going up my body. And now I'm going to begin my stretch. I'm going to tell you now how to breathe. It's going to sound a little bit redundant because I'm going to continue to talk to you about this breath, but that's what this is all about. This is more of a tutorial video for down the road when you do my longer stretch and breath classes. So what I want you to do is, as you fill up your belly with air, not your lungs, if you have to, place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. And I'm going to turn to the side here, and I'm going to show you. You go. I'm feeling pushing out my belly with air, and then making a ha sound. The reason I want to make a ha sound is because I want to be able to stimulate the diaphragm, wake it up a little bit. And making that ha sound in the throat is just going to send those vibrations down to the diaphragm and wake them up a little bit. So you don't have to do this. So if you can, put your arms down to your side. I want you to take a deep belly breath in to the count of 4. In through the nose, reaching up those hands, in, and now. Let's do that again. We're also going to slow it down today. Some of the times that we're going to be holding stretches are going to be for a minute. And part of the discipline is going to be just laying there and breathing and doing nothing but taking care of yourself for an entire minute. It's a lot harder than it sounds. But for now, just breathe in to the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to do it with you now. Reaching up. Hold it there for a second. 2 more, just like that. Fill up that belly. Fill up the belly. Push the belly out. You're trying to make a big balloon. So this time I want you to get those legs nice and wide. Sometimes I'm going to tell you just breathe normally. And sometimes I'm going to tell you to take advantage of that diaphragmatic breathing. Right now, go ahead and just breathe normally. And let's just get those hips opened up a little bit. So breathe up if you want. You can do a deep belly breath here. And then point those toes out like a plie a little bit. Oop, I slipped. And then come down nice and deep. Open up those hips. Get as deep as you can. And come back up. And come back down. Open up those hips. Get as deep as you can in there. Let me just tell you why. Because you've got some tendons in here that get really, really tight. They can pull your hip forward. They can create sciatic pain. So go ahead and get deep as you can today. Open up these tendons and joints down here in the legs. Bounce a little, just a couple times, and then come back up. Now get those legs together. And now I want you to go ahead and take a deep belly breath in. Reaching up, look up to the sky, reach up out of those hips. Reach up with the right hand, just breathe normally here. Left hand, and bring those arms down. We're going to do that again. Big, deep belly breath in. Reach up with your right hand and your left hand, and bring it down. We're going to do that one more time, and I'm going to change it up just a little bit. Reach up, big deep belly breath in. Now you're going to pull the left hand down and just stretch over like you're trying to reach down with one arm and reach over with the other arm. And breathe normally here. Get that spine bending sideways. Your spine loves this. And then come up, bring the other hand up, and bring them both down. And just let that moment go. Just breathe normally here. Take a big, deep belly breath in. Now the other side. The one arm is coming down. And now you're going to reach over and you're stretching up and away from the body. I'm reaching up to the sky here with my arm that's up in the air, and I'm reaching down on my arm to the side. Just hold it there and breathe. Breathe into that space that you're creating in your spine. You don't get to bend this direction very often, so take advantage of it. Your spine loves it. Bring that arm back up. Bring it down. And let that moment go. We're going to do one more stretch. Feet hip width apart. Actually a little bit wider. Go ahead and get into plie. That means your feet are pointed out a little bit. And we're just going to move a few times. Go down with your arms and then reach up. Looking up. Down and up. And then bring those arms down. Those legs together, and one more standing stretch, and then we're going to get to the good part where we lay down and we really get to stretch and open up around those hips. Go ahead and let one leg come out to your side and just open up that inner thigh. Just give it a good stretch, and then come back up, and then come to the other side, and then come back up. We're going to do that one more time, each side. Come on. Get as deep as you can. You're wanting to open up this inner thigh. Come back up. Come down. Come back up. Bring those legs together. One more deep belly breath. Reach up as high as you can, up out of your waist. Up with right, up with left. Bring those arms down. And let that moment go. Welcome to Stretch and Breath. Now we're going to go down on the floor. Here comes the good part. So just lay down on your mat, and I want you to start just laying flat. I call it on the beach. Some people call it dead man pose, but I just don't like that. It just doesn't sound good to me. I want to bring life into your body through breath. The original Greek word for breath means the same as life. In fact, it means the same as spirit. So whatever you need today, just breathe that in and think about that, and let this be somewhat meditative for you, whatever that looks like. And just breathe in life and take opportunities to breathe out stress. Breathe out anything that you don't want in there. So I'm going to lay down on my back. Now I want you to let everything go here. My hands are flat on the floor. My feet are resting apart here. And I'm just going to do some deep diaphragmatic breathing. So go ahead and breathe in through your nose, filling up that belly with air to the count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold it there. And then to the count of 4, exhale. do that 2 more times. Breathe in, trying to make a big, like balloon with your belly. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Hold it. And then on this last one, I want you to breathe in as big as you can, trying to push that air all the way down into your hips if you can. So breathe in through your nose, filling up the belly, not the chest. Hold it there, and now exhale all the air out. And this time, when you think you've let every bit of air out, let out just a little bit more. Good. And let that moment go. Just lay there for a minute and just relax. We like to take our time during breath and stretch because this is all about you taking care of yourself. And sometimes the discipline is just slowing it down and taking time for yourself, which a lot of us don't do. So I want to encourage you, as we're doing this stretching, to stop and not think about all the worries and things you have to do later today, but just stay in the now. Let everything go and take care of yourself. We're going to start with the right leg. So we're going to start by pulling both knees up into the chest. I found out that this is a better way to do it. It is called a practice, and I've practiced this many times, and I've kind of found what works best. So go ahead if you can and put your hands on the top of your knees, pull your knees tight into your chest, and now I want you to roll your spine up like you're trying to make your body into a little ball and pull. And then let that go. Let the legs come back down onto the mat, and just let that moment go. So now what I want you to do is just lift up one leg and pull that knee into your chest. Let's do the right leg first so we're all together on this. Pull the knee to the right of the rib cage. Now pull it down as tight as you can. Now look at my biceps. I am working them. I am trying to cut off all circulation to that right leg, pulling down on it. The left leg is flat on the ground. My spine is flat. My neck is flat. But I am pulling that leg into the leg socket there, into the hip socket. And now pull tight and hold for 9, 8, 7, 6. Pull it down. 3, 2, 1. Now gently release that leg and let it come back down onto the mat. And I'm going to tell you after we do the other leg what you've just done. Pull that left leg up. Pull it down to the left of the rib cage. And now pull it in tight. Pull it in tight. Squeeze. Cut off that circulation to that left leg. Down in the hip area like you're trying to cut off the circulation. See my arms? I am pulling as tight as I can. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that leg. Now pull them both up together. Grab your elbows on both sides of your knees, on top of the knees. Let your head rest down on the mat and pull tight, squeezing down as tight as you can with both legs, trying to cut off the circulation into your thighs. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently let both those legs come down onto the mat and just breathe. So congratulations, you just did a lymphatic cleanse of the lower portion of your lymphatic system down in the groin area. By holding that leg up tight and cutting off circulation, it's a tourniquet hold. It creates, after you release it, it creates a flow of blood that just flushes out that lymphatic on the right and left side of the body. So we're just going to breathe into that space. Whenever I say breathe into that space, I'm just saying at that moment you've just brought a lot of oxygen to that area of the body. So just breathe a little more and get a little bit more life into that area. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our towel, our stretching band, our fancy stretching band, and I want you to pull up your right leg first. So what I want you to do is keep the leg straight and keep the butt and the hip down on the ground. because once it starts to feel tight, for some of us, we want to lift up and go with it. Don't do that. We're wanting to create pivot in the hip area. So I like to keep my towel right around the bottom of my heel, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes, because we're going to do some connection in a few minutes. Take a big, deep belly breath in through your nose right now. And then pull that up to a place where it's uncomfortable and the leg is straight. And then hold it there. Let that air out. And now just breathe. Do not forget to breathe. This is a good place to do deep belly breaths, as many as you like. Breathing in deeply, because you want to bring a lot of fresh oxygen to that tight area in the lower, in the hamstrings and the butt cheeks, the glutes. Just hold it there. Hold it there. By the way, if you do not hold a stretch for at least 30 seconds, you've not begun to stretch. It takes 30 seconds for the central nervous system to tell the muscle fibers to release. So if that communication hasn't had time to even happen, you've not even released the muscle fibers. So those of us who have never really done any kind of stretch and breath practices or anything like that, you probably are going to get great benefit from this. Hold that a couple more seconds on that leg. Now what I want you to do on that same leg, keep it there, pull that knee into your chest, and now pull that towel around your heel, because here's where we're going to get a little bit of butt-cheek connection. And I want you to create some resistance and push away. And you're just trying to twist that leg back into the socket almost. But I want you to feel the connection to the butt cheek here, not the knee. I'm not wanting you to feel just knee. The reason why is because when you connect to the butt cheek from your heel, you're helping to create stability and balance for anything in life that you do, even if it's walking, if it's golfing, if it's tennis, whatever it is. Do that a couple more times. Now pull that up and hold that stretch. And just breathe. Breathe into that space. Good. Now I want you to go ahead and let that leg come down. Now I want you, before we go to the left leg, I want you to lift your right leg up just a few times without any assistance with the towel. Just lift it up. Lift it. Feel how it feels. Now lift your left leg, the one you've not yet stretched, and feel the difference. Feel how heavy it feels, how tight it feels. In that short amount of time, in that little bit of breath that you've brought into your body through this diaphragmatic breathing, you've done that for yourself. So imagine if you begin to make this a practice in your life, how much lighter everything is going to be for you. Let's go ahead and put this around the bottom of the foot. Take that deep belly breath in and pull that leg up to a place where it's uncomfortable, not pain. I don't ever want you pulling through pain, because it could be an issue that you need to take care of. So just pull it where it's uncomfortable and then breathe. Keep that leg straight. Even if all you can do is come to here today, or even here, keep it straight. Keep it straight. If you know that you're a person who's hypermobile and you want to protect the backs of your knees here a little bit, you can give a slight bend. That's fine, if you already know that about yourself. Just breathe into that space. We have a lot going on right now in our lives, and this helps. We hold a lot of emotion in our hips. So this is just going to help release a lot of that emotion and really bring you to a place of serenity and peace. So go ahead now and pull that knee into your chest and push away, and into your chest and push away. We're going to do that a few more times. Make sure you're pushing with your heel. I want you to try as best you can to connect to that butt cheek. We're just kind of twisting that leg back into the socket, kind of like back
Well, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say back when you had Barbie dolls, but if there's men doing this, you probably didn't play with Barbie dolls, so. And just kind of getting that leg back into the joint. That's kind of a reset. And pull that leg back up again. Hold it there. See if you've created a little bit more space in your stretch, in your pivot. And breathe into that space. Good. So to go ahead and let that leg come down back onto the mat. Lay down your towel for just a minute and just let that moment go. Good. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and pull your feet together and just pull those heels as close up to your butt as you can and let those legs just rest open and see if you can just get a nice stretch on those inner thighs, those tendons I was talking about. We put so much pressure on them, especially if you have any kind of, if you're off balance at all or one leg a little longer than the other. We really take a toll in that area to try to balance and bring things back to stability. So just let that open up and let those tendons just release any triggers they might have around them. Breathe into that space. Now gently engage core. Whenever I say engage core, that means pull the belly button into the spine. Pull those legs together and let them come down onto the mat. And let that moment go. Just breathe. So now we're going to do one of my favorite stretches, and it's probably one of the stretches that most of us need so very much. So I want you to pull up that right knee so that your tabletop, when I say tabletop, that means your leg is like parallel to the ground and your knee is up near your chest. Now I want you to put your right hand on the outside of your left hand on the outside of your right knee, because you've got your right knee up. You've got your right hand out next to your body, flat onto the ground. Now I want you to look towards your right hand, but pull your knee down towards your belly button to the ground and twist. Go as far as you can today, looking across your shoulder. I'm going to look more towards the camera just for the sake of you being able to hear me, but go ahead and look towards your hand, and now just breathe into that space. Let that low back go. Just let it go. Just breathe. Now go ahead and engage your core, pull that belly button in, come on up out of that stretch. Let that right leg go flat onto the floor, and now pull up the left knee. Now you're going to put your right hand on the outside of your left knee. Your left arm is going to go flat on the floor next to you with your palm down. Now go ahead and look towards the left, towards your left hand. Now pull that knee down towards your belly button to the floor as far as you can today. We'll pull it down. That's the whole reason your hand is there. Pull it. And now breathe into that space. And if you're lucky, you'll get a little pop in your spine like I just did. Feels really good. It's a self-adjustment. Just breathe. So go ahead and let that leg engage core. And let that leg come back up. Bring it down onto the mat. And now just breathe. Do one more big, deep belly breath there. That feels so good. So I want everybody to go ahead and you can either just sit up or help yourself sit up by using your elbows. And now we're going to turn over and we're going to do some exercises on our stomach, not exercises, some stretching on our stomach. Let's start on our hands and knees. If you're not familiar with child pose, this is probably the only pose that I'll do that is somewhat similar to a yoga pose, because it is one. I like to put my knees as wide as the mat and then put my feet together to create a little chair for myself. That way I know how far back to put my butt. As far back as you can go. If you're having trouble going back, you need your legs open a little bit wider because your hips are just really tight. Go back as far as you can. Now some of you can come with me. Bring that forehead down onto the mat. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm talking, but bring that forehead down onto the mat. Stretch out your arms out in front of you over your forehead, lengthening those arms straight and strong, and then breathe into that space. Just breathe. Now go ahead and come back up onto all fours here. And gently pull out, because I know some of you, that's the first time you've done that and your hips are a little tight, so always come out of those hip stretches nice and slow. And then come down with your legs flat in front of you. Now, this is the stretch I'm going to demonstrate right now. Some of you are going to want to go ahead and do a little bit more of a stretch, and I'll demonstrate that as well. But if this is what you're doing for today, right here, what I'm doing, I've got my hands straight. I've got my legs together as close as I can get them, and I'm just letting my back raise up and arch up as much as I can. I'm trying to get a stretch in my low back, my spine going the opposite direction, but at the same time I am stretching my hip flexors right here. Breathing into that space, just breathe into that space. For those of you who want more of a stretch, come with me and bring that one leg up in front and the hip flexor, open it up. This is a locust. You're going to push your body up. So this way you're going to get a stretch over here in your butt cheek. We call that the piriformis. It's nice and deep in there. A lot of us need that because we have sciatic issues. Push up and breathe into that space. Just let that hip flexor open up. Most of us have tight hip flexors. Just a couple more seconds here. Remember, 30 seconds. It feels like a long time when you're holding a stretch, but it's necessary. I recommend using a timer if you're ever stretching on your own, because you'd be surprised how long 30 seconds is. Go ahead now and push up with your arms and get that leg out nice and slowly and gently. Come back into child pose. Open up that back and breathe into that space. Now I want you to come back up onto all fours. Some of you are going to slide right back down into the same hip flexor stretch right here. And then some of you are going to come with me. And this time you're gonna pull that left leg up in the front, or whichever leg you've not done yet. I'm not sure which one you started with. Pull it up, arch that back, get that hip flexor open on the right or left side. Push the back up, because if you're leaning forward, you're not gonna get that stretch for that hip flexor. So push and arch that back up. You'll feel a stretch over here and down in the piriformis. And breathe. And as you breathe, each time you breathe, you should feel it just relaxing and releasing and opening up in that hip area. Now gently come back up with your arms, pulling that leg out. And let's go into child pose one more time. So now I want everybody to go ahead and sit forward and face me. And this is the final part of our series today. Now remember, I do a full hour, but I'm just going to finish up here with a little bit of the upper body stretching. So what I want you to do is have your legs crisscross, however that is comfortable for you. Some people are going to want to be way out here, that's fine. But I want your spine straight. I do not want any arched backs. Spine straight, hands on your knees. Now what I want you to do is just go ahead and take a deep belly breath in and open up those arms and let it out. Keep them here. Take another deep belly breath in and now arch your back like you're hugging a big beach ball. And I've got my neck moving with it, opening up the top part of my neck, my cervical spine. And then again, big deep belly breath in and open up. Pull those arms back, open up those shoulders. As we age, our shoulders want to hunch forward. So you're going to have to really do all you can to really prevent that by really pulling those open on a regular basis. Pulling them back, strengthening those rear delts and the upper part of your back so that you can keep that coming back like this and not beginning to close in on you. I want everybody now to just go ahead and keep your head straight. Let's not neglect the neck. So take a deep breath in and just look to the right as far as you can. And breathe into that space. Open up the center. Now look to your left. And come to center. And go ahead and look up. Come to center. And then look down. Very good. I am so glad that you joined me today. You might actually feel a little bit sore tomorrow if you've not done this kind of stretching before. I recommend drinking a lot of water because you probably have released some lactic acid into your body. If you like this kind of thing, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and like it. And then if you have any questions and you want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Christy Fitness, and I also have a website, christyfitness.com. Any questions you might have or requests for any particular type videos you might want, I would love to do those for you. So please give me some feedback. Let me know what you think and pass it along to your friends. At this time in our lives, this is the kind of thing that is going to bring the adrenals to really good balance.
in addition to nutrition and other things as well. But pass it along. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.